too. Knows about the grind. Yeah, bubble grind.
Now we have a guy that could probably get in there if you...
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers hit the road once again.
I'm your huckleberry.
Are you kidding me?
What's up, Nasties? Happy Monday? But this weather. Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Of course, title sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk is Play Alberta. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. If you gamble, use your game sets. We got the screw. Let's do a parlay coming up. We were ice cold last week, Coop. Like, ooh, baby, it was bad. We're going to have a nasty make our third selection today. As Joaquin Gage is off today and Friday, but the big guy will return tomorrow. And we'll roll along on a busy, busy week for sure. So stay tuned for that if you want to be the third in our Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. Fun show, loaded show today. So much to get to that happened over the weekend. And to look ahead at 1:20, Kristian Jack from OneSoccer. He's in town. He had an event yesterday. Matthew Wanek hosted a little hot stove there down at the Ice House, I believe it was. He'll join us at 1:20. Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL joins us at 1:40 to tee up the Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas Golden Knights, Carolina Hurricanes. Who do you want to win? In the second hour, James Herbert from CBS Sports. He covers the NBA. I think this is going to be a wicked final. Like, this is the New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs. What they did to OKC in Game 7 was very, very impressive. So we'll have some fun there. Screw it, let's do a parlay. We got to figure some stuff out for our fantasy league. I guess there's only really one day we can do the draft. And by all accounts, a lot of people struggling with the CFL fantasy draft. I guess it's taking a long, long time. Hopefully it's sorted out. But for the 5 gentlemen that are in the league, let me know if Wednesday works. Wednesday evening. We can go anywhere from 6 to 9. Let me know if that works. You can hit me up on the River Korean box, 780-218-9999. You can email me personally, Hernan at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or just put it in the nasty chat because I can't do it tomorrow. I got my niece's birthday, so I'll be busy all evening. And obviously tonight we got the Canada game. And I know my buddy, Koob, you know how Joaquin hates when he says I complain too much. But this weather is ridiculous.
It really is, man. Like there was flooding warnings around the Alberta area, especially in this Edmonton region, like on Friday. And you just kind of sat there and thought like, oh no, like how bad is this rain going to be? We haven't really had much rain at all. Usually it's, the cliche, April showers bring May flowers, but it's just been pouring. And on Friday, like it's cutting into the Elks at Clark Park. Their game was delayed. The Riverhawks had a game delay as well. It just bad juju at this time where sports are starting to come back outside a little bit, and especially today with such a big game, it's not good at all, man.
No, and it's gonna last it seems like all week into the weekend. So we just gotta power through, I guess. It's not ideal, but this is Edmonton, and Edmonton weather is it's frustrating. I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully Joaquin's not listening.
Hey, we make do. We make do though. I'm still excited to go. It's going to be a memory because I'm going to the game today. I bought tickets just after Friday's Reed Wilkins show, and I said, okay, I got to actually go. I know it's going to be raining. Didn't really know what the weather's going to be like, but we're all going to suffer in misery together, and that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Get some rain ponchos and head on out, and I'll be dressed like it's minus 30, so I'll be nice and cozy and warm, and nothing a few beers can't take care of. So it's going to be fun down at the game. Of course, Friday they announced the roster. I thought they did a great job bringing back the old school guys like Atiba Hutchinson, De Rosario. I thought that was a really good little touch. No real surprises for Team Canada. Some absolute heartbreak, though, for Marcelo Flores from Tigres Club out in Mexico. They showed clips of him seeing the announcement that he made the squad with his teammates. They had a big game on Saturday, and then a non-contact injury, and it's a ruptured ACL, I think they said yesterday. So He was heartbroken. You can see it on the sideline. So Canada has one more roster decision to make. I think the game tonight is going to be an interesting one with all this rain. I do believe some players that were slated to play a little bit more probably won't play a lot. They're coming in injured. They got some, Davies not going to be ready for the first game. Schaffelberg hasn't really trained. Now you lose Marcelo Flores, who's going to be an excellent option off the bench. I'm intrigued to see what they do tonight. Of course, they're going to split the two goaltenders, Dane St. Clair and Maxime Crépeau. We'll see what happens there. Ali Ahmed and Jacob Schaffelberg, like mentioned, will not play tonight. Larea is more likely for 30 minutes, according to manager Jesse Marsh. So we'll see. He said they wants to get a lot of players in, but those players coming back from injuries, they might not want to play them too much in this game. The field will be heavy. It will be sloppy out there. And listen, these guys have the cleats, the 6-7 studs that are really good in rain, but this is just ridiculous rain. So I'm intrigued by the field. I'm intrigued by the game. But like Coop said, it should be a fun time. Just dress dress for the event. And the unfortunate part, though, that I'm looking at is that it's going to attendance is going to take a huge knock. I was telling the guys in the chill lounge there that I saw a lot of people on social media yesterday, a lot of families selling their tickets. So a little unfortunate for that. It seems every time Canada Soccer comes here, we have crap weather. The game is televised. It will be on TSN, so make sure to tune into that and cheer on the boys. Uzbekistan is going to the World Cup too. So intriguing game. It's the final tune-ups, and then they play one more in Montreal before the real thing kicks off next week. Edmonton Elks over the weekend lost their final preseason game down to Clark. Again, I walked over at 6. It was beautiful out. Like beautiful. And then around 7, I was saying hi to a lot of old friends from the Elks, a lot of Nassies out there, some old friends from the radio side of things as well. And then, boom, the rain starts coming, lightning. It's a little bit delayed. And then it got cold. Like it got really windy and cold. And I think we left after the third quarter. It was like enough is enough. Fourth stringers were in. And, of course, the Elks named their roster yesterday. Notable players released. Evans, he played a little bit on the O-line last year as a 6th guy. Jalen Calhoun, who had a touchdown. Or did he have a touchdown? I think he had a touchdown in the first game of the preseason. Victor Benjamin, once you saw him out there late in the third, early in the fourth, you were like, okay, this guy's in trouble. He played a handful of games at receiver last year. And Zabrowski, who showed well, but it's very tough to run 4 quarterbacks, once the final rosters are set. So Schneider gets the third stringer job there over Zabrowski. So we'll see what happens there. OJ Allaire, who was good last year late on the PR. Jesus Gomez, the backup kicker, also the global. Very intrigued. Josh Cephas, Carter Kettle, TJ Luther all make the team as receivers. I really like that TJ Luther. He looked really good. Fullback Skylar Griffith and linebacker Daryl Javbomi, who was their first-round pick, and Justin Pace also make the team. Those are the big surprises. So I'm very how can you not be excited about this receiving core? I think it's going to be a really good one. I know it's a lot of unknowns, but I do believe it's going to be a very talented one. Now, Mogensen looks like he's going to be the starting middle linebacker, and I don't know what that means for Nick Anderson. I still think Nick Anderson will get reps. I just don't know where or what's going to happen. But Mogensen was with the first team for most of Friday night. Nick Anderson followed after him, so it's going to be interesting there. Nick Anderson's a very talented player, but so is Mogensen, and they're different. So that's one battle. Then Cordy and Beard, who's going to start at center. I think those are the two ones we'll be looking for on Friday's depth chart as the Elks kick off week 1 on Saturday. Green and Gold kickoff show with Matthew Wan and J-Mail and get going at 4 o'clock. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be fun and cannot wait. So, yes, once again, for the 5 gentlemen in our CFL Fantasy League, Wednesday, 6 to 9. Let me know what time works best, and hopefully we can get it done because it sounds like there is a lot of issues with the site right now. Like always, the afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Check out their Tab 25 restaurant where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Are you going to the game? We want to hear from you. Are you going to brave this weather we're having? I mean, listen, I went to the Costa Rica game and it was October. It was cold. I didn't go to the Azteca game. Kudos to anyone who went to that game because it was freezing that game. Absolutely freezing. I don't know how the players were in shorts in that game, but the crowd was great. So I don't know what to expect today. I really don't know what to expect today in terms of attendance. And in the game itself, I don't know, Koo, we might have to go there for the screw it. Let's do it. There's not much action unless we go MLB, right? So I think I got something in mind for that. But I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we all wish the day was much better than it is right now. Hopefully, the rain stops a bit because it's coming down hard.
Yeah, you can live sort of without the actual rain coming in. And there was a bit of a downpour, I guess, Friday when I was heading home. Like, I slowed down probably 20 kilometers under the speed limit. It's just kind of been consistent now, but you don't want to see any, I guess, I don't know, flooding. And there's no parking, by the way, at Commonwealth Stadium. So you're going to have to do the park and ride.
Yeah.
If you have a ticket to the game, free admission to the LRT and ETS services as well. So your ticket doubles as an admission to transit.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Just
that's
a
good.
note.
Yeah, because parking around there, we all know it's not the best. I live downtown, so I'll just walk over.
Lucky bugger.
A lot of texts. Hey, Hernan, I'm good to go Wednesday night. That's good. Ian says, just checking you got my email. Yes, I did get your email, Ian. Okay, so that's Wednesday is good for me whenever. That's good news. I'm available from Dave in Section T after 6 on Wednesday. Perfect. It'll be online. Like we're not meeting up or anything. So this one says, the Wolf is working in GP with the older brother of Elks rookie Carter Kettle. If he has the same work ethic his older brother has, the kid's going to put up some points. I'm very excited for Carter Kettle, too. He looks like a nice little find there. Good old Canadian kid. I think he's going to make some noise. And Dean in Med Hat says, driving up from Medicine Hat for the Canada game. Bought my rain pants this morning and a couple ponchos, hoping the pitch holds up for the decent game. Let's go, Canada. Well done, Dean. Look at that. Now I have to go. Dean's driving up from Medicine Hat, Coop, and I'm going to stay at home because it's a little cold and wet. Come on. Come on, Hernan.
I know. I've never experienced anything like it as well. Like, I've never been to an actual soccer game. So just to, sit there with a few buddies.
Was this your first, professional soccer game?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, never went to FC Edmonton or anything like that.
Look at that.
Never really showed up once before. So to get to see some national footy action is going to be quite exciting. That's something I can't miss, man. I don't want to be one of those guys who, if it turns out to be a great game, you don't want to miss, right? You don't want to have those regrets. So...
Yeah, no, you're gonna love it.
It's
stiff. Like, listen, I know soccer's not for everybody because it's slow and everybody's sick of the diving. I love it. I think I love the game, and I get sometimes. Yeah, some games are boring. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Does the diving get annoying? Yes, 100%. But like I said, it's always been part of the game. It's not going anywhere. You just got to take it for what it is and enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy it. I love the World Cup. I think it's one of the best. You can go after work, Coop, grab a beer and watch a game. It can be Portugal, Japan, for whatever, as an example. And you're going to love it because you see so many great goals, so much talent out there. So really looking forward to it. Of course, we have NBA Finals. We have NHL. There's so much to get to. I don't think we have enough time. And look, we have the World Cup in the house. They're kind enough to drop it off here.
What did I think Tommy said Larry, his name was? A big EST fan, so thanks for that. I didn't realize now looking at it for those on the YouTube, like it looks like quite the replica, but the weight of it is actually insane. It's you get a workout carrying that thing. Not that I'm a physical specimen or anything working in radio. My hands are pretty clean and smooth, but yeah, seeing that thing is pretty cool having around in the studio. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be here throughout the World Cup. That gets going next week, of course. Canada's first game is on the Friday, if I'm not mistaken, against Bosnia. I am concerned a little bit about the team, and we'll talk to Kristian Jack. I think the injuries might catch up to them. I'm not as confident as I was of them getting out of the group today, just because of kind of what's going on here. As, who's going to be their goalie? I think it's close. I think both guys have their pros and cons, of course. Maybe Jesse Morris doesn't know either. Maybe he does. But both guys will get a half today, and it's going to be an interesting night down at Commonwealth Stadium. Okay, we're going to get out early because Kristian Jack only has a few. He's helping us out with some of his time. He's in production meetings, of course, for the game tonight. He's from OneSoccer. He's been covering the national team for years and years. One of the best to do it. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Olinka Gretzky. The next generation of NHL stars are coming back to Alberta this summer. Tickets are on sale now for the 2026 Olinka Gretzky Cup in Edmonton and Red Deer. Visit olinkagretzkycup.ca and click on tickets to get a seat for a first-hand look at the future of hockey. Like I said, coming up, we want you to keep slamming that thumbs up.
Smash the thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up.
We still have Kristian Jack. We have Scott Laughlin. We have Noticias. We have James Herbert. And we have the Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. It's a loaded Monday edition of the show. Hernan riding solo as Joaquin is off. He'll return tomorrow. It's Hernan and Zach here this afternoon. Of course, 3 o'clock, Reed Wilkins, J-Man will take over, and they'll take you right up until 6. I have one more thing to do, Koob. I can't remember now. Oh, slam the thumbs up. River Korean Box, 780-218-9999. And the Nasty Chat. Kristian Jack to tee up tonight's game from Commonwealth Stadium coming up next here on EST Afternoons.
From Commonwealth Stadium, Canada, Uzbekistan hit the pitch for a 2026 send-off series matchup. Game time at 7 o'clock. Maxime Crépeau and Dane St. Clair will each play 45 minutes in goal for Canada. Live World Cup friendlies action. 4-0 lead 4-0 lead for Turkey against North Macedonia. 84th minute of that one. And 27 minutes into the game, Austria and Tunisia are scoreless. NFL News, ESPN has reported that the Browns have traded defensive end Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster deal. Linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-rounder, and some other picks are the expected return for Cleveland. From the Big Apple, 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. is headed back to the Giants, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. And a pair of WNBA games go down today. Seattle visits Dallas with a Lynx and Mercury battle. Baseball action, it's the Mets and Mariners matching up 7:40. The Rays challenge the Tigers at 4:40. We also see the Brewers taking on the Giants. The Jays back in action tomorrow, opening a series against the Braves. We talk some soccer next here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
TSN's Craig Button joining us.
I just been out riding the bike, spending some time. We're going to go for a hike tomorrow and just kind of get outdoors and get out on a kayak.
And you'll be better than Dustin.
I do kayak, Dave, and it doesn't take much to be better than Dustin. I mean, all you got to really do is stay afloat, and you're already better than Dustin. So
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings, 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap, before the noise, before everyone else. This is Edmonton football. The only way to experience it is being there when it happens. Every hit, catch, and touchdown. Season seats, flex packs, groups, single games. There's a way in for everyone. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year. Get your seats now at goelks.com/tickets.
Some of us are walking, others are biking. Together, we are accelerating the pace of MS research breakthroughs. This May, join Sentinel Storage at an MS Walk in your community. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of MS Canada.
Edmonton, don't miss Canada Soccer's men's national team as they take on Uzbekistan as part of the send-off series before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Join us Monday, June 1st at 7 p.m. on Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.ca.
River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Prism and Aldanova. May 29th in the venue. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Google is
one shopper. Finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket. A deal. One donor. Letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant.
Learning.
Trying.
Building skills.
Building confidence.
Building a future.
One purchase. One donation.
One job. One choice.
Goodwill is.
The power of one. The power of one. The power of one. The power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
Somewhere, someone is sitting on a patio that is literally part of the parking lot. They're hot, uncomfortable, and bored. Do not be that person. The Canadian Brewhouse has a rooftop, real turf, misters, fire tables, patio games, big screens, and zero reason to be bored. This summer, your standards are higher than a parking lot, and you know it. The Canadian Brewhouse, Canada's best patios.
We're back here on a rainy Monday afternoon on EST Afternoons. I'm your host, Hernan. Salas, Walking Gauge, my co-host, is off for the day, but I'm joined alongside Zach Kubusch, our producer. Very excited for our next guest as we're going to tee up tonight's game and look ahead to what gets going next week, which is the biggest event of the summer, the World Cup of Soccer, as Kristian Jack joins us from OneSoccer, and he joins us on the Old Country hotline right now. Kristian, thank you for taking some time right now. I'd say welcome to our wonderful city, but the weather right now has other ideas. It seems every time Canada plays a game here, the weather is just not the best. How you doing?
I'm great, Hernan. Thank you for the welcome. And look, we can't control the weather, but we can still control having a good day, right? It's going to be a good one.
Yes, it is 100%. And Kristian, let's just start with some sad news over the weekend. Marcelo Flores, non-contact injury. We all saw the clips of him on the bench, just devastated there. I know his dad's taking to Twitter just with the heartbreak for his son there as well. And for me, Marcelo Flores was going to be a very interesting part of this team, a guy that can provide a lot of skill, good with his feet. He could create, and that's what Canada needs. But just first talk on the absence of Marcelo Flores for this World Cup, and who do you think is going to be replacing him?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, as you mentioned, a really tough loss for Canada in a season of injuries. The worst one happens right after they announce the roster on Friday night, so that's not ideal either. You feel for Marcelo, who's obviously made this decision. Felt Canadian, got the opportunity to represent Canada, play for them in those two warm-up games in March in Toronto, and performed well, and I think showed Canadians that kind of skill set that many of us have already known. Watching him this year a lot for Tigres, and we've got the Champions Cup games on CONCACAF Champions Cup games, which is effectively the Champions League of this region on OneSoccer, and you get to see him a lot. He played one of the CPL teams this season in Forge, and I was there to speak to him and see him, and you can see what a kind of dynamic player he is. And I think he was a big coup for Canada to get him and become officially Canadian from a footballing point of view. So he will be a big loss as an X factor, as a decision maker in the final third that Canada necessarily doesn't have. Now, as for the replacements, there's a whole host of potential candidates. You would say that you could go like for like. Jaden Nelson is here, and I think will play tonight in some part of the game. He is not on the roster for the World Cup, but they're carrying him along with Zobasong and Ralph Priso, of three players on the squad who could potentially make the team, but bringing them now because not every player can play. Remember, you don't have to name all 26 players that can play in these games. These are just build-up games. So all of those players could potentially play and make it up as a 26th man, depending on injuries. And that's the big question mark. So, for example, Richie Larea, how does he come through this week, tonight, and then Friday in Montreal? How is Alphonso Davies fitting in? All of that. Okay, if they don't need another left back, then maybe you don't go with Basson. What about Jacob Schaffelberg and his return from his hamstring injury? How far along is he? Can they rely on him? So maybe you don't need a like-for-like replacement there. So there's lots of opportunities. Daniel Jefferson's been sent home, but maybe they need to get another forward, things like that. So because Flores could have played through the middle. So there's a lot of opportunities for players. It just kind of throws out there another area of momentum for some of these players and motivation to go, okay, this is not over. Now I've got a real chance to make this World Cup roster after all.
Yeah, definitely, Kristian. And just interesting with the weather we're having. It rained all day yesterday. It's been raining nonstop today. And I know Jesse Marsh said yesterday he wants to get a lot of players in. There's a lot of players returning from injuries and all. Do you think that strategy of getting everybody in is changing a bit just because of the weather? The field's going to be heavy. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be sloppy, but it's going to be heavy. Maybe the risk of some of the players coming back, he will not want to risk. Do you see something changing in terms of how he uses his roster tonight?
Well, we addressed in the press conference where it was a very noticeable question and a good one, both from you and at the time. They did think that the field was okay, and they did the press conference before they trained on it. I heard after they trained on it, they thought it was better than originally was concerned with some concerns and presumed. So I think the plan will be to go ahead and do what they need to do regardless. It will play fast, which I think will help Canada break down an Uzbekistan team who are very good defensively. So I think that will help. But yeah, you're right to keep an eye out and monitor it. But at the same time, there's lots of different surfaces that you could have precautionary things about when it comes to injured players, right? Not just because of the weather. So let's just see how it drains and how it looks and when I get there today. But as of right now, I don't think that's affected his team plans.
Kristian Jack from OneSoccer joining us here on EST Afternoons. I think this is one of the bigger questions, and I know we had Ben Steiner on from Sports Illustrated last week. For you, Kristian, who would you start in that first game in net? Because you have the young guy, you have a little bit of an older guy, Maxim Crepeau. Both guys, having pretty good seasons in the MLS. But for you, Kristian, who would be your starter?
I think Crepeau is the number one candidate right now because of his experience and his performances at the Copa America. They haven't really had anybody really take over the league completely. You mentioned MLS; they played okay. They're both playing for teams that concede a lot of chances, so they're very busy. One obviously being with Miami, with a big team and a lot of stars that score a lot of goals, and one being with Orlando that's struggling right now. So, look, it's not been ideal that they haven't made this decision yet. Let's be honest; it's not ideal that we're going into a World Cup starting next week and no one knows, including the players. That's a fact. So, yeah, I'm leaning more Crepeau. We'll see tonight. They get 45 minutes each. Crepeau first half, Sinclair the second. Let's see what kind of 11 in front of them that they get as well, because if they're doing a lot of changes at half time, maybe whoever they play with each goalkeeper may show a little bit more of his hand as well. But I think Jesse has to make a decision, and I think he has to make a decision quickly, and likely he has to make a decision this week, because I don't think we can get to a point where this becomes a major story next week and then they get to Montreal and play another 45 minutes. I think that would be more suicidal, to be honest, at that point from a footballing point of view.
Yeah, and Kristian, you mentioned Uzbekistan, a very defensive team. What else can you tell us about this team? Like maybe one or two players that all the fans going down to Commonwealth tonight can keep an eye on?
Well, Uzbekistan qualified for the World Cup, and there's a reason why they're here, because they're trying to get to a point where they are, similarly to Canada, trying to find a way to get similar opposition, right? So when you think about Uzbekistan, they've got a situation here where they believe that they can somewhat, mimic what they've got at the World Cup, right? And so when you think about them, Fabio Cannavaro is the big name, because Fabio Cannavaro was the coach and is the coach. So that's a player that many people would know. Obviously, if you listen to the show, Fabio Cannavaro is the 2006 World Cup winner for Italy, who was magnificent for that team as the captain. And Fabio Cannavaro is someone that's led this team to this point. So, look, I think it's a good challenge for Canada. I don't necessarily think that players that you alluded to the fans going down there to keep an eye on it. It's not necessarily a team that people are going to know that well. Kusanov, obviously everyone knows who Kusanov is from his time at Manchester City. There's not a lot of other players that people are probably going down there will be too aware of. But with Uzbekistan, like I said, they're a difficult team. They've lost, I think, 2 of 35 games competitively. Okay, people would laugh and maybe mock at some of the issues that they've got in terms of their opponents, because they haven't been able to graduate to the point where they're playing a lot of top-class opposition, which I think is fair. But this is a massive opportunity for them as well to go out there and try and show what they can do ahead of a World Cup group where most people expect them not to get through. They are with Portugal, Congo, and Colombia, which is not easy. But at the same time, they'll look at that Congo game last in Atlanta and think, okay, if we can somehow get something from the first 2, we can get to 3 or 4 points. We've got a shot here. So they're a bit of a combination of what I think Canada will face with Bosnia and Qatar, the first 2 games, almost a hybrid.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, and Fabio Cannavaro, yes, an absolute legend in the world of soccer, like you've mentioned. It's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. Just the last one for you, Kristian. Looking ahead to the World Cup, it's always a fascinating tournament. More teams this year, as we've seen in the past. For you, I know it's early and it doesn't get started till next week. Do you have one or two favorites that you think are going to go all the way?
Obviously, the names that everyone throws out there are Argentina, France, Spain. I tend to lean against them. I just think, I can understand why everyone picks them. Spain, the most talented team, the Euro winners, Argentina, the World Cup winners. It's very difficult to do what they're trying to do, win a Euro and then a World Cup, or win a World Cup, Copa America, World Cup again, and Copa America in between before that. So I just think there's a team for me like Brazil that is very, very talented, that a lot of people are sleeping on, and are not the best team at the World Cup, but have a great coach and I think can be a bit of a wave of euphoria through the World Cup where suddenly people start to talk about, can they do it? Can they do it? Brazil have always had the talent. They just a lot of times have capitulated mentally in games at the World Cup because of their emotion, their connection to the World Cup. When you think about the World Cup, you think about Brazil, but they've underperformed a lot and they've had that big moment in the knockout game where it's let them down. But now with Carlo Ancelotti, they've got a really good coach who knows how to win tournament football. And if they can keep Marquinhos and Gabriel fit, the two centre-backs at the back, they can go a long way.
Awesome stuff, Kristian. Thank you for taking some time today. I know you're super busy ahead of the game tonight. Enjoy the game, enjoy your city, and I'll enjoy your coverage on the World Cup.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really looking forward to it. I know Edmonton stands out for being a massive city for sports, and no matter the weather, they're going to be there tonight. So that's the most important thing. It's great to have the team here in this city as well, Hernan. So thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
All right, that's Kristian Jack from OneSoccer. Has been covering Canadian soccer for many, many years. One of the best to do it, and happy to have him on. Cool, that's a big get. Kristian Jack is someone I've been watching for many years, and I know at 1260 we used to have him on as well, and he'd join us. And I think he was part of TSN at that time, but he is one of the best covering the sport right now in our country, and that was an awesome conversation.
Yeah, well spoken. Obviously knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's covering the sport, and his title with OneSoccer says it all. He's been around, and he was with. You said Matt Iwanek and him were each. Matt was hosting the panel.
Josh Cloak and Shanetti. Yeah, they put a picture. All the Voyagers were there. It looked really good. It looked like a really fun time. So good on them for doing that. And hey, I'll be honest, I did not know Fabio Cannavaro was Uzbekistan's coach. Fabio Cannavaro is one of the best center backs to ever play the game. He's Italian. He's won the World Cup. This team is not going to be easy. So, and then like you mentioned, they're in a group with Portugal, Congo, and Colombia. So they are in tough, but you never know at the World Cup. And that's what's the beautiful thing about them. That you just never know what can happen. All our guests are brought to you by Old Country Towing, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 roadside rescue team, fast, safe, and reliable for over 15 years. Whether it's a game day or a snowstorm or a rainstorm, we work as hard as your favorite team to get you going. Call 780-986-6088 for all your towing needs. And I am intrigued who the starting 11 for Canada is going to be. And I like what he said about the goalies. Like, you should know by now. You're just over a week out. You should know who your starting goal. No, maybe Jesse Marsh knows, and he's just going to give them both 45 minutes, and then in their final prep game, he's going to run his starter for the full 90. But I agree with him. I think they maybe internally they do know, and they're just not sharing it with us, which is completely fair. That's what a lot of teams do. But it is interesting. I would also go with Maxime Crepe. I just think he's a little bit older. He's got a little bit more experience. Both guys play on MLS teams, like you said, that don't defend really well. They give up a lot of goals. Can't put it all on the goalie all the time. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like always, hit us up on the afternoon inbox. Hey, Collective Soul, performing at the River Cree. July 28th, doors open at 7, shows at 8. Tickets are starting at just $79.99. So if you'd like to see Collective Soul and all their bangers, head to the River Cree Resort and Casino, of course, the sponsor for afternoon in a box. Up next, we're going to switch gears, talk a little Chell. How about that, Coob? Little Chells. We have a very interesting, the Canes waxed the floor with Montreal in Game 5. It is unbelievable the Canes have lost one game this playoffs, Coob.
Yeah, they're the first team to go 12-1 heading into the Stanley Cup final in a 4-round playoff format as well. They have been electric, and we're talking about it in the bullpen that their one loss was game 1 of this series, right? Where they kind of in 11 minutes and 30 seconds allowed 4 goals. Passes. Break for the Habs. Like, they just started quicker is literally it. They won really 10 minutes there of the game, and then absolute suffocation for the remainder of that series.
Yeah, I do think the Canes are going to win, but I think it's going to be a long series. I think Vegas is going to give everything they can handle. Listen, Montreal was game. They couldn't shoot the puck for some reason or get pucks on net. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. And I know a lot of people are like, it's going to be boring. I see it the other way. I think it's 2 teams that can roll 4 lines. It's 2 teams with good D-cores. I mean, Carter Hart and Freddie Anderson have been excellent. 2 fiery coaches going toe-to-toe. So I'm very intrigued by this. I think this is going to be a phenomenal series. We saw in the Mem Cup, Sam O'Reilly. We'll get to that. Canada loses at the World Championships. I don't know, Cuba. I'll get to it after. There's something that happened in that game that made me laugh. But 4th, man, that's, not good enough. Okay, what's going on with Canadian hockey right now? Everybody's catching up. It's in Norway, man. What are we doing?
I can't name a single player who was on that Norwegian team. I'm going to be completely frank with you. I'm not sure who they sent over from the NHL. You know, you kind of put your broad scope and spotlight on that, on Team Canada and United States, and I guess the major 4 hockey countries that are participating. Yeah. But with Norway, they're not seen as a big hockey country, and they got the win, man. Canada pushed back. They were down 2-0 with 2:30 remaining. Like, they were that close, but no cigar for the Canadiens, who had a pretty decent roster.
Yeah, and good for Finland. Barkov, he's an absolute beast. He's a menace. I think Florida's going to bounce back in a huge way. All right, coming up next, we will talk some hockey. Well, that's what everybody wants. Keeps hammering that thumbs up. Hit up the Nasty Chat, the River Korean box, 780-218-9999. Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL joins us next here on EST Afternoons.
From Commonwealth Stadium, Canada, Uzbekistan, hit the pitch for a 2026 send-off series matchup. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Maxime Crépeau and Dane St. Clair will each play 45 minutes in goal for Canada. Live international friendlies action. It's Tunisia and Austria scoreless at halftime. Later on, 5 o'clock, Colombia matches up with Costa Rica. NFL news. ESPN has reported that the Browns have traded defensive end Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster deal. Linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-rounder, and some other picks are expected to head back to Cleveland in the move. From the Big Apple, 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. is headed to the Giants, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, and a pair of WNBA games go down tonight. Seattle visits Dallas with a Lynx and Mercury battle. Baseball action, Mets-Mariners matchup 7:40. The Rays challenge the Tigers at 4:40. We also see the Brewers in action against the Giants as well, with the Jays back in action tomorrow against the Braves. Some NHL discussion next up here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
The EST Hangout.
If people think that he had a concussion in the playoffs, or as Frank put it, quote unquote, concussion-like symptoms, you have a medical team. I don't think he would let that fly. No. And I don't think TD Forrest would let that fly. I trust that in knowing those guys.
I'm going to believe Bowman more on that one than I am on the report.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
Time for a new career in 2026? Or maybe your kid is still pondering their path. Good news! Weiss Johnson is hiring. It's Dennis, and not only are we hiring for heating and air conditioning, we're also looking for experienced plumbers and gas fitters. With the growth in residential development, there's no shortage of opportunities at Weiss Johnson. Choose your path with us. Learn from one of the industry leaders, and we will grow together. Receive great benefits and school reimbursement as well. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Edmonton, don't miss Canada Soccer's men's national team as they take on Uzbekistan as part of the send-off series before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Join us Monday, June 1st at 7 p.m. on Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.ca.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc, we're the experts you need to know.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons here live from the William Huff Studios. I'm Hernan Salas, joined alongside producer Zach Kubusch. Our guy Hawk is off today. He'll make his triumphant return tomorrow, ready for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Portions of this hour brought to you by Lamley's. Built for the job, made with quality craftsmanship and designed for job protection with cowboy-worthy durability. Lamley's Workwear combines safety with all-day comfort, featuring brands like Ariat Work and Wrangler Rigs designed to withstand tough conditions and deliver performance across every job site. Visit lamleys.com/work to see how Lamley's can make your workday better.
LAMMLES.
Just ahead of Scott Laughlin from Sirius XM NHL. We got lots to get to in the next segment for Noticias. I know Kiki here won some tickets. Let me get a hold of either Iwanik or Lieutenant Eric here, and I'll have an answer for you by the end of the show, okay? He won some tickets and hasn't received them yet, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, I'll try to get to the bottom of it for you, my friend, okay? We all want you to go to the game. So it's going to be fun. Oh, Kubi gave me a different number. I apologize. Okay, that's my bad. That is my bad. I failed you, Coop. I failed. So if you're going to the game, let me know. Where are you sitting? What's the attire going to be? It's going to be a full rain suit. What time are you heading down there? Are you going downtown for some dinner and drinks first? Are you walking over? What's the plan for tonight's big soccer game here in Commonwealth Stadium between Canada and Uzbekistan? And of course, we'll have a third member from the Nasties that will join us for the Screw Let's Do It parlay as we bring in Scott Laughlin from Sirius XM NHL joining us here on EST Afternoon. Scott, thank you for taking some time. How you been, man?
Doing well, Hernan, doing well. I hope that Mother Nature is going to cooperate a little bit tonight because I'm looking forward to watching the match under some fairly decent circumstances. What's the weather like out there?
It is terrible right now. It's about 10 degrees and it has not stopped raining, and it doesn't. And it's
just nobody get hurt, right? Nobody get hurt for Team Canada. We've had enough injuries.
And not just that, Scott. We got wind that's just crazy right now too. So it's going to be an interesting night for sure. But let's get to the Stanley Cup final. Vegas Golden Knights, a team that I think many of us didn't expect to be here, but they took care of business against the Colorado Avalanche and the Carolina Hurricanes, who've lost one game in these playoffs. How are you looking at this finals? And a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be boring. I'm not really into it. I'm on the other side. I think this is going to be a fantastic series, Scott.
Yeah, I think if you like, defensive structure and you like goaltending that could be top notch. I think this is probably the series for us. And I think generally speaking, as Canadians, we admire the nuances of the game, the small little details that at this time of the year, especially, it takes to win championships. So I think that it may not be the most exciting series. I think they're going to have moments, these two teams, when they get out there starting tomorrow night, where they kind of wow us a little bit, and they're going to be moments that we speak of the day after. But to think that this is going to be, Edmonton versus Philadelphia circa 1985 all over again, I don't think that's going to be the case. And nonetheless, I've still got it, Hernan. I've got it going 7 games. I've got Vegas winning. I just think they're a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical than Carolina is. And I think over the course of a 7-game series, I think Vegas ultimately is going to go back down there to Raleigh in Game 7 to win it. But I expect a long, drawn-out competitive series. And I think that for those that think that, especially in the United States, that the ratings might be down and they're not interested in this type of series, I think they'll be missing out just because it's going to be, I think, so competitive and really a coin flip in the end.
Yeah, it's interesting. Who's kind of Golden Knights took care of Colorado Avalanche. I don't think many of us didn't pick Golden Knights to do that. And like I mentioned earlier, Hurricanes have only lost 1 game. But is it the Golden Knights that has impressed you more these playoffs?
I don't know if that's the case or not. Carolina's been so dominant. To your point, 12-1, fewest losses entering a final since back in '87. Oilers and Flyers way back when then too. So. I think they've both been equally impressive. The thing to me that's impressive the most right now is the fact that they're both going in playing such great hockey. You've got Vegas, who's won 6 consecutive games. You've got Carolina sporting that 12-1 mark, which is top so far in the postseason. And I think because of that, both teams are on top of their games. Now, every series is different, right? We talk about styles make fights. Well, this is a different matchup, and there are some similarities between these two teams, and there are some differences between these two teams. But I like the fact that both teams are playing so well going in. This one is really going to be, hey, may the best team win. Some great storylines, whether it's the goaltending matchup, whether it's the head coach matchup behind the bench, and who's going to out-chess the other guy perhaps throughout the course of a long and lengthy series. So I think there's some really, really great storylines going in here, and obviously some feel-good stories, some stories of redemption. When you talk about a guy like Freddie Anderson on one side, and we know he's playing with a heavy heart, playing for his late agent, Claude Lemieux, and his family, and on the other side, you've got a guy like Mitch Marner, obviously trying to prove that he's resilient, coming off a Toronto experience that certainly didn't end too well.
Yeah, Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL joining us here on EST Afternoons. I wanted to get to Mitch Marner. It's crazy to see now, Scott, because everybody else, a lot of people outside of Toronto kind of want Mitch Marner to win this one here. What would it mean for Mitch Marner to be hoisting that cup? Like you said, great regular seasons in Toronto. The team couldn't get it done in the playoffs. We all know what happened last year towards the end of the year and the threats that were being made to him and his family. What does this mean to Mitch Marner to be where he is now and potentially win the Stanley Cup?
Well, I don't know if he'll say it, but in the back of his mind, Hernan, he has to think, hey, this is my redemption story, right? It really is. And he took a lot of heat in Toronto, and some of it's fair, some of it's unjust. I think when you break it all down, I think he and Austin Matthews, for the most part, were seen as the poster boys for Leafs futility, and the fact that over the course of 10 years they could win, 1 or 2 playoff series. They were few and far between series victories for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he's a part of that. There's no question about it. But the reality is he's now playing for a much better all-around team. He's got teammates who have been there and done that before. They've got resumes that are commensurate with Stanley Cup champions in the case of some of these guys there too. So I think from that standpoint, even though he went to Vegas and he had some questions to answer and he's getting paid a lot of money, I still think some of the pressure was off of him going to Vegas and getting out of the fishbowl that is the Toronto market. And I think he's responded accordingly. He didn't necessarily have to be the guy out there talking to the media each and every night after a game. Jack Eichel could do some of that. Mark Stone could do some of that. Shea Theodore could do some of that sort of thing. Some of the pressure was off of Mitch Marner, and I think he's responded accordingly.
And Scott, Montreal Canadiens, we got to give them credit. They were exciting in these playoffs. To take care of Tampa Bay and Buffalo the way they did. They're set up so well for many, many years with that young core. That's one of the teams we're going to have to look out for here going forward. But just your thoughts on what the Montreal Canadiens were able to do these playoffs, and just look ahead to maybe 5 years down the road where, like I said, this core ain't going anywhere and they're only going to get better.
Yeah, such a young team, and we talk about the experience that they gained last year by dipping their toes into the playoff waters. I think you look at it now and making a run to the conference final, it just gives them a little bit more experience to get ready for next season. I know that earlier today, Cole Caulfield was kind of hard on himself, and he said that he sucked in the playoffs, and it'll be a learning experience for him, being as blunt as he was today with the media. I mean, the reality was that there were flashes from Cole Caulfield and flashes from Nick Suzuki. You wanted to see more dynamic play from that top line for Montreal. Slavkovsky, of course, had a big game or two, but for the most part, he was searching for the elusive consistency as well and opportunities to score on net. So I think at the end of the day, it is a huge learning experience for this team. I think in going forward, they have not one but two goalies. When you talk about Kubusch stepping up, you talk about young Jacob Fowler behind him or beside him, or maybe even in front of him. If Jacob Fowler gets on a roll next season too, don't rule that out either. And I think that they've got a lot of their good young players locked up to very team-friendly contracts for years to come. And you talk about Lane Hudson on the back end, and the guys that we talked about up front with Suzuki and Caulfield and Slavkovsky. And Ivan Demidov said earlier today that he wants to sign on long-term with the Habs as well, wants to be a part of winning championships. So they've got Laine and they've got Gallagher, each expected to leave here in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever the case may be. But beyond that, this team's going to come back intact. They're going to be better for the experience, and you're right, the next 5 years or so, I think this team's fully capable going on to win a Stanley Cup. And wouldn't it be something if the last Canadian team to win a cup in 93 becomes the next Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup? And who knows when, 2027, 2028, 2029, whenever it might happen, there's a good chance it could happen for Montreal.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Now, you mentioned Brendan Gallagher. He's 34 years old. Today he said it's pretty clear I'll be kind of moving on here. Do you see a team going the Brendan Gallagher road? I mean, he's got all the heart in the world. He can still play. Do you see him landing somewhere, maybe on a 1-2 year deal?
Well, I know there's been a lot of speculation already in terms of a place like Vancouver, right? I mean, he's a Western Canadian guy to begin with, maybe going out to Vancouver, playing for a young team, giving it a chance maybe to add a veteran guy, like you say, that's got an opportunity to spread some culture around with a relatively young group. And we know where Vancouver's at their trajectory, right? They're stripping it right down to a certain extent, and obviously that kind of started with Quinn Hughes, and they've got the third pick in the draft coming up on June the 26th in Buffalo. So I think they're restructuring, retooling, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. How deep it goes, we're not quite sure. But the reality is you're trying to build up some sort of a culture, establish something that maybe a Gallagher could fit into a situation like that, where he can play in your top nine and he can be a guy that can lead by example. I was kind of surprised he didn't get in ultimately for Montreal. I thought especially going to game number 5 against Carolina, at least he could provide you with a spark, some energy, because you weren't generating much. But for whatever reason, Marty St. Louis just never elected to go down that road. And as you say, Brendan said earlier today that pretty much his time is done in Montreal, and we'll see what the next stop is going to be for Brendan Gallagher. Patrick Laine is an interesting case as well. He said earlier today that as of the new year, he felt like he was healthy enough to play, but clearly was not an option for that Montreal team that was pushing for the playoffs, and certainly fallen out of favor there too. So who knows where he lands? I'm thinking a place like Los Angeles that needs a little bit of scoring, maybe catches lightning in a bottle with a guy like Patrick Laine. So maybe Laine to Los Angeles, maybe Gallagher to Vancouver. Those two connections, I think, would make sense to me.
And one last one for you. So Scott Laughlin joining us here from SiriusXM NHL. What do you made of the whole Oilers situation with their coaching and the Bruce Cassidy and not getting permission? How do you see this going?
Well, boy, that's $1 million question right now too, right? I mean, clearly they have made overtures towards Cassidy and they'd love to have him. But Vegas has no problem wearing the black hat, right? I mean, they've got no problem being the villain in this entire situation. I got a feeling that, probably the entire continent of North America outside of the state of Nevada is probably cheering for the Carolina Hurricanes to win this Stanley Cup, right?
Yes.
Do everybody a favor when it comes to Vegas operating the way that they've operated, being as ruthless as they've been over the years. Look, Edmonton wants to get their hands on Bruce Cassidy. I think there are doubts as to whether or not Kelly McCrimmon ever wants him to go to Los Angeles or to Edmonton, for that matter. We'll have to wait and see. But boy, it is interesting the way things have kind of heated up here during the offseason. And that pillow fight of a division, of course, known as the Pacific, as Connor McDavid once put it, this will be something that really gets stirred up, I think, as far as the on-ice rivalry goes into next season as well, with or without Bruce Cassidy behind the Oilers bench.
Scott, great stuff as always. Enjoy the soccer game tonight as you'll be in your warm home watching.
I'll be dry.
Yeah, exactly. And enjoy the start of the Stanley Cup final that gets going tomorrow. All the best.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Scott Laughlin from Sirius XM NHL joining us here. He's taking Vegas in 7.
It's going to be one hell of a pillow fight.
Oh, baby.
Just going to go back.
Can you imagine the Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup with Mitchell Marner?
That now, prior to the season starting, or as on the Reed Wilkins show, Jay, Reed Wilkins, and myself all made Stanley Cup final picks. And I think both Jay and I went with Toronto to meet Vegas in the final. Now that's one half right, I guess, at the start of the season, just for that storyline, of course, just with some fun. But the fact that Mitch Marner has been called a playoff disaster for his entire time with the Maple Leafs and is now showing up with a team that is red hot under John Tortorella. It's a things of fairy tales, really.
And he might win the Conn Smythe.
The amount of storylines all over the place in this final are pretty
good for him,
right?
Good for him.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'd be super stoked for Mitch Marner. Took a lot of heat, and listen, a lot of it is fair. They didn't get it done in Toronto.
No, that whole core failed to show up year after year after year, and they just couldn't push through. And now, you mesh with a different team. You kind of get that opportunity. I think for Oilers fans, though, the worst thing is, I saw this online. It's the fact that either Taylor Hall or Mitch Marner will win a Stanley Cup before Connor McDavid.
Halsey's my boy. I love Taylor Hall. And it's and if it goes 7, it just means the Oilers got to wait longer to hire Bruce Cassidy. Because we all know that's what they're doing.
And then the pressers afterwards. And then now they're going to get set for the draft.
The parade, the draft. Like, this might not happen, but I truly believe that the Oilers are just waiting for him. They'll due diligence, and we're interviewing other candidates, sure. But it's Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah, I guess I'd imagine the longer the wait goes on, and when they see them sweep the Avalanche, they realize they got to wait longer. So they're nosing around, as you would think any franchise that has that, first step mentality, be a step ahead of another franchise. He's definitely at the top of their list, it seems like, with that news breaking out, but you got to explore other opportunities, man. Got to have a plan B.
Yeah, and Patrick Laine, no to Edmonton, okay?
No.
The Oilers are trying to get better. Not worse, okay?
Yeah, like his career point totals are pretty good to the eye, but just the way that things have gone in his career, it's very unfortunate from his 44-goal season out in Winnipeg, where things have gone. I'm sure that if he finds the right place, he can get back. I thought that was Montreal myself, and seeing them acquire Laine, I thought that he would be a big piece of that team moving forward, but defensive issues, like liabilities, he's got one hell of a shot, but
I think there's more to it, too. We just don't know.
Well,
but yeah,
just from the outside looking in, definitely. That's somebody I root for, though. I've always liked Laine's game, but just didn't work out with that.
Nope. He's fallen off quite a bit, so we'll see what happens there. And Gallagher, any team would be lucky to have him. And he's going to come cheap and give you one good 2 years, and you move on from that afterwards. But fun opening hour. We had Kristian Jack from OneSoccer and Scott Laughlin from Sirius XM NHL. Joining us in hour 2 will be James Herbert from CBS Sports to tee up the NBA Finals. We got the Screw It, Let's Do a Parlay, and we got Noticias coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Slam that thumbs up for us. This is EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Chris Morris, president of the Edmonton Elks. Is there a scenario where the CFL becomes a TV league and less of a gate revenue league?
Reed, that's up to the fans. This is a professional sports league, so the revenue has to come from somewhere. So if you're not getting a gate, and if the gate continues to decrease, unless the TV money really escalates, it's not a viable league anymore.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, weekday afternoon 3 to 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for flooring? Paramount Flooring has it all. Sales, service, and expert installation with options for every style and budget. Open 7 days a week. We've got you covered. Quick delivery and in-stock deals. Plus, EST listeners get 10% off. Visit ParamountFlooring.ca today.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean?
For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Prism and Aldanova. May 29th in the venue. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Edmonton, don't miss Canada Soccer's men's national team as they take on Uzbekistan as part of the send-off series before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Join us Monday, June 1st at 7 p.m. on Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Tickets available now at ticketmaster.ca.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap, before the noise, before everyone else. This is Edmonton football. The only way to experience it is being there when it happens. Every hit, catch, and touchdown. Season seats, flex packs, groups, single games. There's a way in for everyone. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year. Get your seats now at goelks.com/tickets.
The Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for any scenario. Had a good day? It's time for happy hour. Bad day? Oof, happy hour. Boss said great job? Happy hour. Boss said let's circle back? Ugh, definitely happy hour. Got a promotion? Happy hour. Spilled coffee on your shirt 5 minutes after getting dressed? Ugh, happy hour. So whether you're celebrating or recovering, our happy hour starts at just $3.99. The Canadian Brewhouse. Your day just got happier.
From Commonwealth Stadium, Canada plays host to Uzbekistan for 7 o'clock start tonight. 2026 send-off series World Cup. Maxime Crépeau and Dane St. Clair will each play 45 minutes in goal for Canada. Live international friendlies action 0-0 between Tunisia and Austria in the 52nd minute. Later on, 5 o'clock, Colombia and Costa Rica go at it. In other news, ESPN has reported that the Browns have traded defensive end Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster deal. Linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-rounder, and some other picks are the expected return for Cleveland. From the Big Apple, 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. is headed back to the Giants, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. And a pair of WNBA games go down tonight. Seattle on the road in Dallas, while the Lynx and Mercury tip off. Baseball action, the Mets-Mariners matchup 7:40 start. The Rays also challenge the Tigers at 4:40 to start things off. In the MLB today, Brewers taking on the Giants. Tomorrow, it's the Jays and Braves in action for their series opener. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. Hour 2 EST afternoon starts right now.
What's up, Nasties? How you doing on this Monday? Are you going to the game? Are you getting rid of your tickets? What are you doing? Welcome to EST Afternoons. Hour 2 here. Hernan, Salas riding solo alongside producer Zach Kubusch. His walking gauge is off. He'll also be off on Friday. So we'll wait for his triumphant return tomorrow. The big guy. See what he got up to this weekend. Oh, he was super busy with work and all that stuff. So you say hello to walking gauge at home.
Gage, you're just taking the day off. That guy, does he work anymore? No, he's doing too much, man. That guy,
he's a busy boy.
He is quite the busy lad, and quite the day to take off. Like, tons of conversation, man. We've been all over the place, which is a great thing. Like, this is a good time at sports right now, man.
I love it because you're talking all different things. You're not just stuck on who the good coach of the Oilers going to be, blah, blah, blah. We'll figure that out as soon as Vegas is done in the Stanley Cup final. We'll see what happens. We all know it's going to be Bruce, people. So
Sean Bell. No.
So just relax. Enjoy your summer. Well, enjoy whatever we're having outside right now.
Hey, man, we need it. And it's selfish to be like, oh, well, it's going to be bad weather. I packed my car like I was going camping today. I woke up frantic. I didn't prep anything. You know, I can procrastinate. Sometimes I get to the nitty gritty and get to work, but I didn't think of packing rain stuff until this very morning. I got hiking boots and rain boots. I got everything in my vehicle prepped for this game.
Yeah, I need rubber
I don't want to
boots.
be, I don't want to be sitting there in pain. You just got to be ready, man, and get going for things. Do you not have rain boots, Hernan?
No.
Maybe you just need to.
I'm gonna have wet feet. Get sick.
Tie your feet in garbage bags there.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Let's get to Noticias, of course, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff. Get your single game tickets today and be there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. Lock in your seats now at goelks.com/tickets. Hit it, Coop. Hey, James Herbert's still to come, and screw, let's do a parlay, and we'll get to the trivia after Noticias. Of course, you know, Carolina-Vegas kickoff game 1. Tomorrow, the Stanley Cup Final, 6 p.m. The NBA Finals will kick off on Wednesday at 6:30 between the Knicks and Spurs. Spurs have home court advantage. Interesting, Jalen and Rick Brunson will become the first father-son duo to play for the same team in an NBA Finals in league history. That's per NBA Communications. That's pretty damn cool. After Rick, the dad, represented the Knicks in the 99 NBA Finals, also against the Spurs. That's pretty cool. 1999, it was the Spurs defeating the Knicks in the Finals in 5 games. So I think that's going to be a phenomenal series. Like, just phenomenal, Coop.
Well, 2 absolute juggernauts going at it, and you see how the length of what things went like between the Spurs and the Thunder. Like, man, seeing that Game 7, the absolute jubilation, Victor Wembanyama and all the others, man, just pushing on. Like, it sucks because SGA, you know, as a Canadian, you could root for him, but I don't know where people's NBA fandom shit resides. Like, which bandwagon are you hopping on, Hernan?
Well, they're both my teams.
They're
man.
both your teams.
They're
it's hard to pick. It's like having kids. You can't pick a favorite, right?
It's hard, man.
I know you love them so much and equally too.
Enormous trade in the NFL. I mean, good Lord, take some time off, NFL. They're not messing around.
Oh my gosh.
So the Rams receive Myles Garrett, who's an absolute beast. Absolute beast. One of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best. For Jared Verse, who in his own right is fantastic. A 2027 first round pick, a 2028 second, and a 2029 third pick. So the Cleveland Browns trade Myles Garrett to the Rams for Jared Verse and 3 picks, including a first rounder next season. Rams fans must be over the moon. I mean, as a Browns fan, I think you're okay because you're getting a really good player in return. But you don't have the best player in this deal, which is whatever. But the picks are going to help. And wow, a bombshell, a blockbuster, whatever you want to call it. The Browns and Rams come together for a trade.
Well, of course, Myles Garrett set the single NFL single season sack record with 23 last year. So record was previously held 22 and a half sacks. Michael Strahan in 2001 and TJ Watt in 2021. So
that's crazy.
Unreal.
Good for the Rams, man. They're all in, man. Good for them. They still got Stafford there, so why not? Pro Bowl quarterback Russell Wilson, who has an offer to be a backup, has elected to accept an offer to join the CBS sports team for their Sunday pregame show and more. So Russ taking the TV side. The Mem Cup, we all know what happened. Kitchener just whooped Everett there. Sam O'Reilly joins Brad Richards, Corey Perry, and Mitch Marner only players to win the regular season, playoff, and Memorial Cup MVP. And listen, a lot of discussion. Listen, this kid has yet to play pro, so let's pump the brakes. But I think he's going to be a hell of a player. Now, Ike Howard, I think, can be a player too. I don't think they're the same. I think, because everybody's like, well, Ike Howard has to do what's avoided. Well, it's not the same. I think Ike Howard is more just offensive. I'm not saying he hurts you defensively, but I don't think he's going to be killing penalties anytime soon. So I think he's going to be more on the scoring side. Can he become a regular 20-goal scorer? You'll take it. Of course you will. But I think Sam O'Reilly has all the tools to be just an unreal two-way player with some offense. So we'll wait and see. It's hard. You can't. It's impossible to make a judgment now on these two players, okay? Because Ike Howard had a really good pro season, albeit in the AHL, but who cares? Savoy did the same thing last year. In that sense, it's similar. But I think we got to give it 4 or 5 years. These guys both have had some years in the NHL, consistent minutes. We'll see what they become. I don't think it's fair to judge this trade now. But if O'Reilly becomes a hell of a player and Ike Howard is just okay, then I think Oiler fans have a right to be pissed. They're going to be like, you let Holloway go because you didn't want to give in to $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then you traded a guy for, by all reports, they didn't really have a book on Ike Howard. Yeah, we'll wait and see. But I don't think it's fair to judge right now. I think both players have potential to be really good NHLers. And we'll wait and see.
And that's where it sits, man. Like you see junior players all the time once they get to the pro level. Might take some time, might not develop as they originally thought. Like that's the thing. If every pick was a hit, it would be obvious whoever got the first overall pick would, I don't know, they would be the best player every time. That's just not how it is, man. And these are both great talents. There's a reason why they're drafted in the first round. The Oilers wanted to get another younger piece to add to their pipeline, which on paper, when they first made the move, is what it looked like. But this is another storyline that might possibly be developing with another misstep in Oilers management.
It could
right?
be. It could be. Like I said, it's not fair to judge them right now. And listen, there's been a lot of good junior players, great junior players, and college players that haven't turned out to be anything in the NHL. We see that a lot. So that's why I say, listen, I like Sam O'Reilly. We had him on the show when he was still part of the Oilers.
Yeah,
great
friend
kid,
of EST.
Great personality. I just think he is going to be a really, really good, like a second, third line center. And Ike Howard, I hope it works out. I like the guy. I think he had a positive attitude. We talked to Holtby down in Baco, and he said when he came down, he was great. He had the right mindset, and he went down there, and all he did was produce. So can he translate that to the NHL? Well, that's what we're hoping for. And do the Tampa Bay Lightning hope that Sam O'Reilly can be a mainstay with them in the coming years? Of course. So I do think it's far too early to be criticizing this trade on the Oilers side. I know we don't defend the Oilers that much, but I think in this sense we gotta give it a lot of years here before we know who won this trade and who's going to be the better player and all that.
Well, also from the Rangers here, I guess of note, because Sam O'Reilly, a part of that squad. The Lightning also acquired his teammate there from the Blackhawks, Jack Pridham, in exchange for a 2027 third-round pick. And he's committed to the NCAA for next season, 20 years old, had 1 goal, 2 assists in that 6-2 victory in the Memorial Cup final as well.
Yeah. So again, we can, let's give it 2-3 years and we can criticize it then. We talked about it a bit. Canada loses to Norway. I'm not trying to be a D word, but there's something poetic about that. The overtime goal by Norway and Darnell Nurse laying on his stomach. I know it wasn't his giveaway, but I just thought it was funny. I'm sorry. Nothing to it. I'm not saying he played bad. I'm not saying this or that. I'm just saying it was because I know that's what drives a lot of Oiler fans crazy and media like that he's lays down on his stomach. Unfortunate. And listen, I know a lot of people are Evan Bouchard. Listen, we're not talking about Bobby Orr here, okay? Bouchard was having a great tournament. I'm not taking anything away from him. But if he was there, they won. Well, you don't know that. Nobody knows that.
No,
do they win if he's there? Sure, but again, it's Evan Bouchard. Great offensive player. Like, let's pump the brakes on if he's there, they win it all. I'm not buying that.
And especially, I guess, after his injury against the United States and then the matchup against Finland, which I took them on the screw it, let's do a parlay Canada to beat them. They lost 4-2 and then lost in the bronze medal game. Like what?
This team had Celebrity and Crosby. Yeah. What the hell are we talking about? They had Scheifele. Like they had a good team with Bouchard, without Bouchard.
They had Connor Brown.
They should have won.
Out loud.
They should have won.
Yeah, okay. Well, going through the roster for Norway, one active that I know, and there's some listed a part of the Anaheim Ducks roster, whatever. But Emil Lilleberg is the biggest name that I could see from this.
I didn't know Norway was even like when I saw the box score and the highlights, I was like, holy, like Norway really? And listen, I'm not. Hey, we've seen this before, right? Didn't Lavia beat Canada at the World Juniors? When was that Lavia? A couple of years ago or a year ago?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, so I know there's upsets, but like the notion that Canada lost because Bouchard wasn't there, let's pump the brakes. Yes, they missed him because he's great offensively and he was having a good tournament, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Champions League, PSG goes back-to-back after a 2-1 win on PKs. I know my buddy Lieutenant Eric was very happy. The Indy Polo takes home the win from Pole, his fourth win of the season. This guy's listen, I know a lot of people don't like auto racing or motorsports, whatever you want to call it. Get into Indy. It is fantastic. And this Alex Palou might be the best driver on the planet. He is fantastic.
So for those who now F1 is, of course, the major driving force. Would you say that you prefer IndyCar over Formula One racing?
Well, Formula One's different this year because there's more passing, so it's a lot more exciting. Indy's right up there. I like NASCAR, but the problem with NASCAR, it's too long. So most of the time I have to record it and watch it after because it's almost like 4 or 5 hours of race.
4 or 5, yeah.
There's a lot of cautions. They can't race if there's a little bit of rain. Like Danny Hamlin won yesterday, but the race was delayed about an hour in Nashville of all places due to rain. Danny Hamlin's a legend of the sport. He's fantastic. He won. My guy William Byron's even though he's in the top 16 to go to the playoffs, but he's having a terrible year. He hasn't even been close to winning. That's a good question. I'd probably rank Indy number 1 right now, NASCAR 2, F1 3. I enjoy them all, but that's how I would go right now. Riverhawks go 1-1. Game rained out yesterday for obvious reasons.
It's too bad.
I think the Stingers won. Last time I checked, they were okay. They did win?
Yeah, they did. I saw their social post there.
Okay, so they're 2-3.
They were on a 2-game slide prior to their matchup. They are 2-3. Third in the Western Conference in the Canadian Elite Basketball League, and their next game goes Wednesday in Brampton against the Honey Badgers, who are doing pretty well.
Jay's off today. Lost 2 of 3 to the Orioles over the weekend. I know they blew one with Jeff Hoffman really bad. And then, at the French Open, Felix Auger-Aliassime takes down the Chilean Tabilo in straight sets. He's moving into the top 16 now. Coop. Good for Felix Auger-Aliassime. That is awesome. Let's keep cheering on the Canadian. Oh, I did see a stat about that too. Let me give it to you, buddy. Felix Auger-Aliassime, this courtesy of John Horn, becomes the first Canadian player in history to reach the singles quarterfinals in each of the 4 Grand Slams. How cool is that?
That's amazing, man.
Yeah. He's got to take that next step though, right? He's got to go. Jasmine's in on the group chat. I saw she was trying to get rid of her tickets. Yeah.
Not a real soccer fan, hey?
No,
Just don't like Canada? No, I'm kidding. I debated it, man. And I even had to text my friends because I was the purchaser, I guess, of the tickets. And I'm like, you're like, okay, yeah, you're going to get me back one day. I get you. I feel you. And I'm like, hey, guys, I'm just going to stress for the 3rd time before I buy these tickets for you. It will probably be in the rain. And they're like, okay, yeah, I love it. Like the one buddy I'm going with, he went to Japan and saw an actual football game in Japan there as well. And he said it was phenomenal. He's like, I can't miss this Canada-Uzbekistan matchup either.
Rip City 7. You know who won 2 Memorial Cups and 2 Memorial Cup MVPs? Taylor Hall. Imagine all he did was win when he got to the big leagues. Yeah, I think it's a little different because Sam O'Reilly is going to join a pretty good team if that's what Rip City my buddy. we're Trailblazers fans together, is alluding to. Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees, and we know that. I mean, we've seen so many good junior players that have a really tough time being a mainstay in the NHL. So, all right, that does it for Noticias, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. And, of course, it's week 1 of the CFL, baby. Week 1 of the CFL. Thursday, Montreal at Hamilton. Friday, Winnipeg at Calgary. Saturday, Edmonton at Ottawa. Here is your trivia question. The first correct answer will be the third member for the Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. You heard it from Kristian Jack. Fabio Cannavaro, Italian legend center back, World Cup champion, is the coach, the manager, whatever you want to call it, of Uzbekistan. The first person to send one of the club teams he played for, the first one into the inbox, will join us for the Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. We talk some hoops on the other side of the break with James Herbert from CBS Sports. Keep slamming that thumbs up for us. And like always, we're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here on the west side of the city. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout at 780-454-4536. Bruce and his crew are the absolute best in the city. We're back with some hoops talk. Here's Coop.
The stage is set at Commonwealth Stadium, Canada, and Uzbekistan hit the pitch for a 2026 send-off series matchup. Game time at 7 o'clock. Maxime Crépeau and Dane St. Clair will each play 45 minutes in goal for Canada. Live international friendlies action. Tunisia and Austria in the 72nd minute. Austria leading 1-0. And at 5 o'clock, Colombia and Costa Rica will go at it. In other news, ESPN, they've reported that the Browns have traded defensive end Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster trade. Linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-rounder, and some other picks are the expected return for Cleveland. From the Big Apple, 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. is headed back to the Giants, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. And there's 2 games in the WNBA tonight. Seattle visits Dallas, while the Lynx and Mercury battle. Baseball action, Mets Mariners matchup 7:40. The Rays challenge the Tigers at 4:40. The Brewers also take on the Giants, with the Jays back in action tomorrow, opening a 3-game set against the Braves out in Atlanta. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. Windsor Plywood Leduc, they're the experts you need to know. We talk some NBA. Up next here on EST Afternoons, I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
Worksite ready, Western tough. Lamley's Workwear is calling all tradespeople, oil and gas crews, construction workers, farmers, and hard-working Canadians. Built for the job with quality craftsmanship, job site protection, and cowboy-worthy durability. Trusted brands like Ariat Work and Wrangler Rigs, designed for performance and all-day comfort on the toughest sites. No matter the season, Lamley's has the workwear you need. Shop the full range now at lamleys.com/work.
LAMMLES. When you cater with Royal Pizza, you're getting the same great pizzas, pastas, and salads you love, just bigger and built for a crowd. Perfect for teams, offices, or parties, Royal Pizza's catering brings real value, around $10 per person. Delicious, high quality, and easy. If you like their pastas, you'll love their catering pastas even more. Visit royalpizza.ca or contact your local store for exact pricing and details.
So come on home, Royal Pizza, still making it great.
Edmonton, don't miss Canada Soccer's men's national team as they take on Uzbekistan as part of the send-off series before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Join us Monday, June 1st at 7 p.m. on Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.ca.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant,
learning,
trying,
building skills,
building confidence,
building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one, the power of one, the power of one, the power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Prism and Aldanova. May 29th in the venue. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
We're back here on EST Afternoons, rolling along nicely. We just did noticias, though. Got through a lot. No Edmonton Oilers news. We wait on that. Probably have to wait till after the Vegas series. Either way, this is EST Afternoons. I'm Hernan Salas. It's the William Huff Studios. World Cup is with us today, too. They've planned to drop it off. FIFA did, and we'll be holding it until the final match. Who will be in the final match? Very interesting. Man, there's so much great sports going on right now. F1 this week, too. We got Monaco, which is going to be, will it be different? Because usually qualifying in Monaco, that pretty much sets the table for who's going to win the race. So, still, the new rules and regulations, cars being smaller. Could there be more passing? It's still going to be incredibly difficult, but we'll wait and see. If you're in the fantasy group, for F1 with EST Afternoons, make sure to check your lineups, and we roll along. Got the CFL one. Sounds like Wednesday for our 5 gentlemen. I'll pick a time. I'll email you guys, and just to confirm, we'll do it in the evening, and hopefully the site's up and running because I know a lot of people had issues with it yesterday. All right, let's shift our gears to the NBA. We're going to have an epic NBA Finals, in my opinion, between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, as we are happy to bring in an old friend from the 1260 days here on EST Afternoons, James Herbert from CBS Sports. James, how you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here. Let's just, before we get to the final here between the Knicks and Spurs, just what we saw in Game 7 from the Spurs. I mean, watching that game, James, anything OKC did, Spurs just answered. They kept clutch buckets, just fantastic. You saw what it meant for that young group. But what did you make of that series? It was fantastic. SGA, maybe they have Williams there. It's a different story. But what did you make of that series in Game 7?
Yeah, it was incredibly high-level basketball. I think Game 1 is obviously that is a classic. We will remember that game forever. Game 7 was similar to that, not quite as epic. We didn't get the 2 overtimes and all of that drama right at the end. But, I mean, the Thunder did keep fighting right, like, down until the end. Like, even when, with a few minutes left, it seemed like they were probably dead in the water. Like, you saw them make a bunch of defensive plays. You saw them try to put a run together. I thought, it's been talked about to death in the past few days. But when, midway through that fourth quarter, Wemby picks up his 5th foul and goes to the bench, and the Thunder, like, it seems like they're about to make it a 6-point game. And Luke Cornett just hustles back and gets this block that, like, will be remembered in San Antonio until the end of time. Like, that is a play that, like, we'll be talking about the day that Luke Cornett retires. Like, that was just a heroic play from a bench player thrust into a really difficult spot. And there were moments like that, honestly, like, on both sides throughout the series. We didn't get as many tight games as we probably hoped. I think, like, we can talk about that if you want, but I think just overall, even in the games that weren't competitive in the final couple of minutes, like, it was really high-level stuff from both teams. We're lucky it went 7.
Yeah, it was great. Like you said, not every game was close, but for OKC, and they were devastated. And SGA said after the game, he goes, "Hey, listen, they were just better than us." But OKC, I mean, they're set up for many years here to continue to compete for the NBA trophy here, the championship. They're not going away anytime soon. So, just your thoughts on OKC, and then just the injuries they were dealing with. Williams couldn't stay healthy for most, up and down throughout the season. What do you make of OKC here going forward?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there is inevitably a lot of like sort of reactionary talk about OKC in the wake of their loss. Like, should they do something major? Should they trade Chet Holmgren because he had a rough series? And I'm not really in that camp. Like, I think if you zoom out, like, it is impressive to me that they were that close, given that they had their second and third best playmakers just completely out for the vast majority of this series. That was a huge loss to try to overcome that. And I thought they did as good of a job as they could have been expected to. Shea was unbelievable in Game 7 for much of the series. He was not able to find that rhythm. The San Antonio defense is incredible. But yeah, I think that was just, they were in a tough spot against an excellent opponent. And like, my takeaways watching the Game 7 was much less about, oh my gosh, like OKC should have done better. It was more just, I was impressed with how San Antonio played. I mean, the biggest stat, the most important stat from that game was the Thunder were, I believe, 5 for 13 in the paint in that game. And that is just absurd. That is rim protection that you really like never see, like not just the 5 makes, like only 13 attempts. Like that doesn't happen. And that's a Thunder team that loves to drive, that loves to get in the paint, that is really physical, that like against a lot of other defenses just lives in that area. And it was just walled off. They could not get in there. They didn't have the shooting to kind of punish the Spurs for packing the paint the way that they did, to like try to draw Wemby away from the basket. Like that just wasn't working for them. They couldn't find the rhythm offensively, but I thought San Antonio's defense was insane. And those teams kind of mirror each other in the way that they want to play. But I think I do agree with what Shea said. Like, in the forms that they were in at the end with AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams out, like the Spurs were better and they got it done, but the Thunder did make it really hard on them. And I think like the more distance we get from this series, I think people will kind of come around on that instead of just wanting to kind of kill the Thunder for not being able to defend their championship and ending up going out in the conference finals this time.
James Herbert from CBS Sports joining us here to talk all things NBA. We have to talk about Wemby. I mean, 22 years old, his third season. I don't know if even in San Antonio they expected this so quickly, but I mean, this kid's doing it all. Amazing numbers in the conference finals. I mean, what else can you say about Wemby at 22 years old? James, I don't know where he's going to be when he's in his prime. Like, we're seeing maybe one of the all-timers in this game.
I mean, he might be the best player in the league right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say he's 22 years old, but I've never seen anybody make the kind of impact that he makes on defense every night. And then offensively, he's an all-NBA, all-star caliber player on that end already. Like, so many of the Spurs open looks from three that their guys are getting, they're getting because of the attention that Wemby attracts when he's rolling to the paint, when he's attacking off the dribble, when they give him the ball and he's putting it on the floor one-on-one. Like, he is a really, really tough cover. And I think he's also an incredibly unselfish player. He knows how to read the game. He knows how to set his teammates up. And he's willing to do the dirty work. He's willing to take contact. He's willing to initiate contact. I mean, you're seeing every part of his game come out during this finals run. It's been amazing to watch. Like, the skills for a guy his size are obviously like completely unprecedented.
Yeah.
But it's not just the skill level. Like, you are seeing just a crazy competitive instinct from Wemby. You are seeing a lot of just smart, good decision making, and you're seeing resilience from him when things aren't going well. He didn't have a great offensive game in every game of this series because that's another incredible defensive team that they are going up against, but that didn't bother him. I thought he was able to take what the defense gave him, was able to make some honestly really tough shots off the dribble, but also keep forcing the issue, keep rolling hard to the basket and making the Thunder react to that. I mean, I don't know how you could ask any more from him at this point, and we're just kind of witnessing a guy coming into his own and arriving on the biggest stage that there is in the NBA.
So, James, let's get to this finals matchup. They met 1999. Spurs took care of business there 5-5. I guess the big question to start this off is the guy we're talking about. How do the Knicks contain Wemby?
Yeah, I think that will be difficult. But I think they do have what a lot of teams don't have is in OG Anunoby. I think It's not just a one, like you're always relying on team defense. They're not just going to leave OG on an island against him. But I do think in OG, they have somebody who is like uniquely capable of at least making it tough on him. Like if you were to design somebody to kind of annoy Wembanyama, it would be somebody who looks a lot like OG. Like he's extremely strong, but that doesn't take away from his foot speed. Like he's really quick. He can get into Wemby. He can push him out, sort of like you saw Hartenstein do in the conference finals. He can also just, cover a lot of ground defensively. And I think he's just, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA anyway, one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. But I think his combination of length and strength and speed and physicality, all of that makes him kind of an ideal guy to check him. Does that mean that it'll just be on him? No, like they're going to have to use other guys against Wembanyama. I don't think they're going to just leave him on an island. I think there's going to be gap help. There's going to be guys that are waiting to go and double team Wembanyama if he gets close to the paint. But I do think that at least gives them like a bit of a head start when compared to other teams and what they're kind of equipped with in terms of trying to slow him down on offense. But honestly, I think if you're asking me, the bigger question is not how do they slow him down, it's how do they score against him?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, everybody loves Brunson at the starting five there in New York is excellent. But I guess I'll ask you, James. Like you said, you gave those numbers in Game 7 about the 13 attempts. Like that's just insane. How do the Knicks do it?
Yeah, I think what they're going to have to do is punish the Spurs in the way that the Thunder could not consistently over the course of the conference finals, which means they're basically going to have to make their threes. Like the Spurs are a team that protects the paint first. Like so did the Thunder, so do the Knicks. Honestly, if you look at how they play defense, like that's really where they're primarily concerned with on the defensive end. But what the Knicks have that the Thunder didn't is just a lot more shooters in the rotation, guys that have quicker releases. I think this is what makes the Knicks so good offensively it's not just the talent, it's that Karl Anthony Towns is a matchup nightmare. Being a guy that's 7 feet tall, that is that good and that quick and like hunts threes the way that he does. I am sure that you will see Wemby spend a lot of time, like quote unquote, guarding Josh Hart, but actually just roaming on the inside, providing help to his teammates and, getting a late contest there if Hart catches the ball on the perimeter. And we've seen this before. We've seen like all of the Knicks opponents in the playoffs at least try this for stretches, and it has worked sometimes, but it has not consistently worked. So I expect Josh Hart to do what he usually does, which is be really active. It doesn't always mean shooting the three, but that is part of it. Part of it is shooting those threes and actually making those threes. And the Knicks, everything's a lot easier and simpler when he's making those open threes, and then opponents have to think twice about leaving him open. But it's not just that. Like you see him just make quick decisions, get off the ball, go screen somebody else open. The point is that the Knicks offense can't just die when he catches the ball. Like they need to stay in rhythm. They need to be playing with tempo in the half court, and they need to punish the Spurs if they are going to try to cheat off of him. And I think so that's where it kind of starts. And if they are having success with that, then, Mike Brown does have other options. We've seen Landry Shamet take those minutes in some fourth quarters. We've seen Deuce McBride go in there and make big shots for them. So it's not all on Hart. But I am curious just in general how the Knicks kind of respond to Wemby trying to live in the paint and deter all of their drives. And that doesn't mean just, endlessly driving and trying to challenge him. They can do some of that, but I think the most important thing is that they make their threes at a high rate. And honestly, they have not had many problems doing that throughout these playoffs. They shot extremely well. But again, like this is going to be their toughest challenge yet.
Yeah, and I mean the Knicks 11-game stretch, the best 11-game stretch in league history. They're rolling. And so, James, like, I mean, both teams are likable. I mean, you know, if you're as a casual fan or if you're not from New York or San Antonio, you know, I look at it like this. This is going to be a great series. I don't know which way I'm leaning just yet, but it could be the Knicks' first title in 53 years, or it could be Wemby's, you know, first title in season number 3 with a great group of young guys, and they got the veterans like Fox in that. Where do you lean in terms of picking the winner here?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I haven't honestly made an official prediction.
Okay, that's fine.
Yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is going to be a long series. I don't, like you referenced 1999. I don't think it's going to be 4-1 Spurs this time. I think even as someone who like throughout the year, the way things are going, I did not think the Knicks were going to be here. Like, I thought there was probably a better chance they'd lose in the first round than they would get to the NBA Finals. I just didn't think their defense would hold up. I didn't think they were going to be more than the sum of their parts offensively. And, you know, 3 games into the playoffs, I was like still thinking that, right? Like, they were down 2-1 against the Hawks. It was kind of ugly. I went to a game, like I've been at all the games at MSG, and I went to one of the games where in the fourth quarter, like Karl-Anthony Towns was like completely unballed, like basically didn't touch the ball, and Atlanta ends up like coming back and stealing a game. And you just wonder after like when they're in that situation, like, are they going to even get out of this jam? And since then, they haven't lost a game. And since then, they have played a consistent, just championship caliber level of basketball. They've done it on both ends. They've played, honestly, a beautiful brand of basketball, kind of seamlessly going from like doing the matchup hunting thing with Jalen Brunson to create advantages that way, to playing through Karl-Anthony Towns at the high post, like having him initiate the offense, having guys cut off the ball and freeing Jalen Brunson up to like not have to create everything. Like, they are able to pretty quickly recognize how they're being defended, figure out what is the solution to the problem. And, you know, they're finding easy baskets in transition. You saw the way that Cavs series ended. It was just like a procession of fast break opportunities for them. And then on the other side, like when they are forced to play deep into the clock, they're completely comfortable doing that. I mean, there have been so many times where, whether it's Brunson or Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, like those guys have just been able to put the ball on the floor and make a contested, often mid-range jumper that technically, like for the defense, those are the sorts of shots you want to give up. But for the Knicks, they're just comfortable finding those shots, and they've made more than they've missed. So I think their confidence level could not be higher. Their chemistry, their cohesion is at a place that I like a few months, like about a month and a half ago, like probably never thought it would reach this level. Like, they are so together, and they're like vastly more than the sum of their parts now. I think they should feel incredibly confident. I think they present some specific matchup problems to the Spurs just because there's not like an obvious matchup for Cat if it's not Wemby. And if it's Wemby, then you're taking Wemby away from the basket, which the Spurs don't want to do. So that just all of a sudden, like that from the jump, puts the Spurs defense in a different place than it's been. And then I think the Spurs offense is going to have to deal with some really, really good wing defenders that have been giving guys hell these entire playoffs too. So the Knicks have proven to be extremely strong on both ends. I think this will be a long series. I've been picking against the Knicks like every round, and now I'm tempted to get into the finals and actually pick them to win just because I'm just blown away that they've made it this far. But I have not actually made a prediction yet, and I'm kind of torn and going back and forth in my head.
No, apologies for putting you on the spot there, but Knicks fans are probably like, James, keep picking against the Knicks. Keep picking against
I'm sure, yeah.
Hey, you said you were in New York for a lot of the games. Will you be in San Antonio for game 1?
I won't be in San Antonio, but I'll be at the games at MSG.
Oh, perfect. James, great breakdown. This series is going to be just amazing to watch. And like you said, we're all hoping to go 6 or 7 so we can enjoy this one thoroughly. Enjoy the NBA Finals, and thank you again for taking some time this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
All right. That's James Herbert from CBS Sports. Great breakdown there of the upcoming final. Like you said, it's the biggest question maybe is not how do you contain Wemby, but how do you score on him? And amazing numbers from that. What was it, 5 of 13 in the paint? That is unreal. real. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Check out their Tap 25 restaurant where you can enjoy their prime rib special for just $21.99. It's available 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Not available on show nights. Up next, we close it out. We'll get you ready for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, and it's a Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. We have our winner for the trivia question, so the three of us will make our selections. Don't go anywhere. Continue to slam that thumbs up, and we're back to close it out here on EST Afternoons.
From the NFL, ESPN reporting that the Eagles and Patriots have agreed to a trade that sends A.J. Brown to the Pats. The Eagles get a 2027 and 2028 first-round pick in the deal, sending a fifth-rounder the other way. In other news, ESPN also reporting the Browns have traded defensive end Myles Garrett to the Rams in a blockbuster deal. Linebacker Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round selection, and some other picks are the expected return for Cleveland. In the Big Apple, 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. is headed back to the Giants, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. And from Commonwealth Stadium, Canada, Uzbekistan hit the pitch for a 2026 send-off series matchup. Game time at 7. Maxime Crepeau and Dane St. Clair will each play 45 minutes in goal for Canada. To the majors, baseball action, of course. Mets, Mariners open their game 7:40. Rays also challenge the Tigers at 4:40 with the Brewers in action against the Giants. Jays and Braves go at it tomorrow, kicking off a 3-game set. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care, whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution. Every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at Capital Care Foundation.net. The Screw It, Let's Do It parlay up next for Play Alberta here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Firehouse Subs. Our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
When gambling, set a budget before you play. Stay informed and visit GameSenseAB.ca to learn how. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey sports fans, I'm Alistair Johnston with Canada Soccer. The biggest sporting event in the world is coming to Canada this summer, and we hope that you're just as excited as we are. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't wait to share it with the whole country.
Sentinel Storage, official storage partner of Canada Soccer.
It's the weekend, the sun is out, and everyone, yes, even the kids, are bored. Bring them to the Canadian Brewhouse. Our patios have games to keep the whole family going. Rooftop views, real turf to run around on, and misters for when the summer gets serious. Oh, and we've still got the game on. Always. All day, all weekend, all summer. The Canadian Brewhouse, Canada's best patios.
Edmonton, don't miss Canada Soccer's men's national team as they take on Uzbekistan as part of the send-off series before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Join us Monday, June 1st at 7 p.m. on Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.ca.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Final segment here on EST Afternoons. Portion of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Afternoons just got a serious upgrade at the CBH. Happy hour runs Monday to Saturday, 2 to 6 p.m. with deals starting at $3.99. Make the smart move and head to the Canadian Brewhouse. We do have a winner. Chris S. said Napoli. That is correct. So Chris S. send us in to the inbox your bet, and we'll kick off. Screw it, let's do a parlay for Inside the Numbers. When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. If you gamble, use your game sense. All right, Kub, I'll go first. I'm going to go correct score for tonight's game. That's the bet. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. I hope so. I hope it's not...
I think
not anything less. Yeah. You could... there's multiple ways I think that you could go through that.
I think both teams are going to score in a nice and moist game down there at Commonwealth Stadium.
It's going to be like a slip and slide down there. Well, if you're going 1-1 correct score, I'll go with a goal scorer. Of course, I'm not going to pick somebody from Uzbekistan. I'm biased. I mean, I'm not cheering for Uzbekistan. Okay. I'm Canadian. Come on. I'm going to have to pick a Canadian goal scorer here. And there's quite a few options down the line, but one name that popped out to me was Tajon Buchanan. Plus 275 for an anytime goal scorer.
Perfect.
Buchanan's going to unload a cannon.
Love Taj. Such a good player. And Chris said he's working on his. He'll send it. You got 4 minutes, buddy. We'll send that in, and we'll get it rolling here. I think he's going base a ball this day in sports and all that fun stuff. Today's National Olive Day. We both love olives, especially the green ones. It's National Game Show Day. Wish we had more time. What's your favorite game show? Maybe we can do that for tomorrow too.
Yeah, that could be. That's a good Hernan.
And it's National Go Barefoot Day. I don't think anyone's going bare feet today.
That's always a good feeling, though. You walk in the rain. I remember being a kid. You know, you'd hop in the puddles. Of course, you'd wear your rain boots, right? But sometimes, you get in the dirt with the worms. Like my mom was telling me this earlier today. No kid's gonna wake up, see the rain outside, and say, "Yeah, I don't want to get rained on today." Every kid loved it. At least I did, and all my buddies. But today, people melt like sugar. Like I gotta put 3
I like
hoods
playing
up.
soccer in the rain. That's about
Really?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite weather for soccer, or would you like clear, like hot? Because I mean, you're playing. Like it's a difference from
like
watching
both.
the game to playing.
I like being hot. I like rain. No wind.
Just no
whatsoever.
wind at all. Yeah.
On this day in 1983, Nintendo released the original Mario Brothers arcade game. Of course, everybody's played it.
Yeah.
On this day in 1990, Total Recall, starring Arnold, debuted in theaters. Terrible movie. On this day,
great scene.
Yeah. On this day in 1988, John Madden Football was released, and look where it is now, baby. And 28 years ago, Sting joined the NWO Wolfpack. Oh. All right. Who's all going to the game?
That's a great question.
So Jasmine updated, said she's going now. I think enough. Maybe she couldn't get rid of the tickets. I saw a lot of people trying to sell them.
Yeah, maybe that's why as well. I mean, hey man, if you can't get rid of it, don't let it go to waste unless there's an actual rhyme or reason. You're sick, which would suck. But just go down, man. I'm sure it'll be a great time. I was looking at the weather. I just use whatever weather app on my phone or whatever Google has, but it says that it's supposed to be like 20% chance of rain by the time kickoff goes at 7. Things are open at 5:30. Got an email from Commonwealth there as well. Make sure you got your bags in tow. They don't really allow any bags, no parking right at Commonwealth either, but you could do ride and share, and your ticket also doubles up as a admission to transit. They highly recommend that, at least in the email. But Yeah. I've seen a lot of people show up to Commonwealth Stadium, especially when I went to Metallica, a couple summers back, last summer, whenever it was, and bags were being taken, like purses. So make sure you check up on the policies there.
Well,
for
people should know by
going.
now. Like, it's
True
only been
enough.
going on for 5 years or 6 years, whatever it's been. So
Some people I know haven't gone for 10 years. Like, some people just don't go down there, and maybe on a rainy day you'd think that you'd bring something extra, but make sure you don't bring too much and get your bags confiscated.
Okay, Chris S's bet was Mariners -1.5. So there you have it. Tage Buchanan goal. Mariners -1.5. Correct score 1-1. Big shout out to Kristian Jack from OneSoccer, James Herbert from CBS Sports, and Scott Laughlin from Sirius XM NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs play tomorrow. If you're going to the game tonight, we'll see you down there. Dress warm. We're going to have a lot of fun. Joaquin Gage makes his return tomorrow. For Kub, I'm Hernan saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the thumbs up. Go Canada, go! We'll talk tomorrow. Chowders.
Dun, da, da, da.